Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We are here with Piqi Miqi again. Thanks for coming back.
Hey, what's up, Richie?
And we're going to be talking about various things, this and that. The first thing I want to cover with you is we just released a new single, right?
Yeah, I got a new song out. It's called Whatever You're Into.
Nice.
And yeah, you know, it's about role playing with your significant other, trying different things in the bedroom. And I just made this kind of quirky, sex positive track. It's R&B, funky. It's really dope. You should check it out.
You do love your funk, don't you?
I love the funk, man. I love the funk. We got a really cool music video coming out.
Yes. And
I play the many reincarnations of a male gigolo. You're in it.
Yes, that's right. You ever heard that one?
Well, you don't play the male gigolo.
I'm not the gigolo in this, okay? I'm not the gigolo for once.
Yeah. I can't wait to show y'all. It's going to be crazy.
That's the only thing I can say. I don't know whether it's Czech or Slovak, but it's Ja sam velký anglický starý gigolo, which means I'm a dirty old English gigolo. That's all I can say.
That's how it starts.
Ja sam uchylach.
I gotta talk about that later. Where did you learn that?
Uchylach. So I know all the important phrases. What was I going to say? So, yeah. So this is okay. Let's actually. I was going to leave this till later, but here it is. So, role play in relationships.
Yeah, role play relationships. Man, like I never tried it until I met Annie.
Okay.
And
tell us who Annie is.
Annie's my spouse. Yep. And Annie, when we first met each other, Annie was like so sexually open, and I always thought of myself as like the most like cavalier, sexual, you know, stallion. Yeah. And then I met Annie. I was like, you blew my mind, girl. You just blow my shit up.
Another level.
Yeah. So like Annie was like always into this, you know, different role plays and stuff and characters. I once played like a robber, and I kind of like broke into the house and was
nice.
like,
I like that one.
That was fun.
That's cool.
And of course, you know, like the typical, you know, kind of dominant, submissive stuff. And, And so this song is kind of like an ode to Annie and this kind of like fun role plays we've had, and also to let people know, like, yeah, you know, try something new, you know, spice it up a little bit,
try it out,
have a little fun.
So you said it's a sex positive track.
Yeah, because I'm playful with it, you know. It's not just a romantic song. It's really funny and quirky, but at the same time it's sexy. It's got a nice groove to it. Yeah. And the whole idea is just like, yeah, you know, you can try these different things, and it's like whatever you're into, I'll make it happy. I'm just trying to like keep you satisfied because I got to keep up with you, baby, you know. Yeah.
So whatever you're into, whatever floats your boat or spins your props, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, let's give it a try.
So how does that, this is the tension for me, because I know that like both you and Annie, because of the people you're associated with, the art scene in Prague, it's very LGBTQ.
Yeah.
There's like people who are like gender non-binary, there's a lot of people who are queer. How does that, so you mentioned the dominant submission thing.
Yeah.
How does this align with like political correctness? Can it align with political correctness?
Like,
how do we do
it? I think it can. Like,
how do you dodge the laser beams?
I found that some of the people that are submissive in the bed want to be dominant in their relationships or in their friendships.
Right.
And then in the bed they're submissive.
Yep.
So like Annie is like super dominant. I'm in relationships I'm not dominant, but I'd say probably want to be in the one in control.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like neutral, you know.
Okay.
I play it like neutral, but subconsciously I think I want to be in control.
Okay.
And yeah, so in the bedroom, can that be like politically correct, dominant, submissive? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, people often ask. They even have the term switch,
right?
Which is like people who can go between each one. So I find that in the LGBTQ plus community, people are more open about asking about these sexual things, like, oh, you're dominant, submissive, or you switch, or like, or you're top, you're bottom, like, you know, you ask gay guys that, stuff like this. So yeah, people are pretty open about talking about stuff like this.
Maybe I'm associating more with hetero people because it seems to be more of a problem.
Yeah.
Because like the idea, even the idea of submission, anybody submitting is problematic.
Because people think like in the way like submitting, like being obedient to your husband, and I wouldn't say like not in this way. Not we're referring to just like sexually, like in the act of coitus.
So you're okay. So that's boundaried. So you're saying
Yeah.
when it comes to sex,
Yeah,
whatever you're into, that's nice. It seems like outside of that community, that's also a problem.
Yeah.
Like they can't distinguish. It bothers me because I don't really think political correctness belongs in the bedroom.
Facts.
I think like if you love each other and you're being kind to each other, and basically the relationship is not essentially abusive, it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
No relationship's perfect, of course. Like we're all people, but there isn't like an asymmetric power dynamic fundamentally. You really should. Really should do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah,
And like, you should push that, I think.
There's a lot of things that happen in the bedroom that are not politically correct. A lot of things said there too, you know, like
most.
Yeah,
I would say
most.
If I
like,
would not want that out there.
Like Annie's a feminist, and there's things that turn Annie on in the bed that I wouldn't be able to say in real life to any biological woman, female, whatever you want to call the terminology.
Yeah.
So, but in the bedroom, it's like these things turn into kinks.
Yeah.
So, like whatever traumas, some trauma from sexism for both men and women or whatever, those things turn into kinks in the bedroom. So you kind of like facing that trauma and like finding some pleasure in it or control over it.
Yes.
I guess that's the psychological.
It is. It is like most. Well, there's so much to the subject because everybody thinks of Freud as being this restrictive, patriarchal misogynist, but actually he spent most of his career trying to focus on making women happy. And one of the things that he said, he didn't do it, I'm not saying he did a great job, because he didn't.
He did a lot of coke.
He did a lot of coke. He came up with in some ways he was a genius, and then, you know when somebody does a lot of coke and they're spending a lot of time on their own? And then they have these
these ideas like...
And they haven't got a mate there just going, Sigmund, no, that's not...
It's enough.
That's just you. That's literally just you. He's like, I'm sure everybody likes this. No, it's just you. But he did say something quite sex positive, which is paraphrasing. Perversion is so ubiquitous to human sexuality that we shouldn't consider it perversion at all. So there's always a boundary break. There's always some taboo element
like
there.
you said, as long as it's consensual, it's communicated, like, you know, actually the sex positive things that I've learned in this relationship have to deal with the communication.
Right.
Like a lot of things, sometimes as a guy, you might try something with a girl, you didn't even ask.
Yeah.
You know, you really gotta, hey, are you okay with me choking you? Are you okay with me spitting in your mouth? You know, like
all of the fun
you know,
things.
because like you might have been with a girl before in long-term relationship, and she loved getting somebody choke her and spank her and all types of shit like that. And you meet someone else and you try the same thing, and they're like, hey, whoa.
Yes.
So you have to like communicate that.
Yes.
So, and then of course mix that with all the porn that desensitizes us. Yeah. We see all these things, and then we think, okay, this is the norm. This is what we're supposed to do, and then we go and we find out, oh, like, no.
There's a guy I was talking to in America. He's a coach. His name's AJ Cortez, and we were chatting once in an interview, and we both had the same experience where we'd been with partners who had expected a level of, I'm not going to say force, but like I mean force in the physics sense, like energy in the act of sex that was higher than normal, and he got acclimatized and I got acclimatized to it. This ex-girlfriend of mine, very sweet, very feminine, very submissive girl, but there was a certain way she liked to have sex. And after 3 years with her, that's what I thought it was. And then when you go to the next girl, it's like, they're like, this is way too much. And you, like you say, the communication.
Yeah, the communication, you got to start from zero, and like everybody's different, you know, and it's crazy. Like, I learned stuff about myself in the recent years. Like, hey, like I really like cuddling and shit. Like I really like just like tender.
For a second there, I really thought cuddling was like some weird sex thing that I didn't know about, and I realized you just meant hugging.
Yeah, just like
that's the new perversion.
Yeah, just like I
just want to hug.
Yeah, I like this hug. You know, this comfort.
Fucking weirdo. That's a pervert right there. Out him, he's a pervert. He's into affection.
Like hugging and shit. Yeah, man, because life is so stressful. Like sometimes just like, yo, I just want to like just be cuddled. I want to be like spooned.
Yes.
That shit feels great. Like to get spooned is like amazing.
Well, you know? And joking aside, like I do think in this in our generation, like I think I've said this before. I think like the Gen Z mentality is so in everything. It's so in social media. I think you're a millennial.
Yeah, technically I'm a millennial. Yeah,
I'm 100% Gen X, but
Yep.
then I see in my own attitudes, because of how much I use social media, because of how much I'm interacting online, I kind of have a Gen Z attitude to stuff.
Facts.
And if you're dating in this, like dating, all the coordinates of dating are Gen Z. And I found that actually twice I was told off for cuddling too much and being too affectionate. That's weird.
Whoa.
But this girl, you can slap me, you can spit in my mouth, you can choke me, you can smack my ass, I'll call you daddy, but don't fucking hug me.
Don't hug
that
me.
creeps me out.
Damn.
There was two girls that happened with one of the girls. I said to her, this is a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Something's wrong here. Like, and she saw herself as being like this empowered, she was a feminist.
Yeah.
Tattoo, highly promiscuous. She was like, it's my body, it's my choice, this is what I do. I have a lot of sex with different men and I choose it. I'm like, that's cool. But you've got like a hard attitude with your own body.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I'm a man. I'm entering you. You're permitting me to enter you. And this thing of not wanting affection, what is that? What could that possibly be about? We ended up having a conversation, and she, at the end of that conversation, cried for like 3 hours nonstop.
Whoa.
Because she realized like she was being, the Jungians, they call it animus possession. So she was possessed by the spirit of an angry man. And she broke that in one night, and she was like, oh shit, no, I'm scared of being vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'm actually frightened. This has been a role I've been playing for all my sexual life, but actually I'm scared. I'm frightened of being seen. So if I looked at her during sex, if I calmed it down and made eye contact with her, she would freak out. She went, what the fuck are you looking at? And I'm like, I'm looking at you. So I can have sex with you, but I can't look at you. That's weird. But she actually sort of, it was like a mini breakdown kind of a thing. And then she cried for about 3 hours. And then she was over it. Yeah. I think there's a lot of that's going on. There's a lot of people like posing their way through it.
Man, like it reminds me like when you get through therapy and you get over some of the childhood traumas, a lot of the kinks start to disappear. Some of the kinks start to disappear.
That's such a shame.
And I found that out. Like, and I'm like, okay, so the sex starts to become more tender and passionate. And there's still like, the level of some rough play, but it's like, I don't need something to like get me off to enjoy this.
Yeah.
You know, and that's probably like one of those breakthroughs, and then she can just, relax and be able to be comfortable with other things that she wasn't comfortable.
That next night, in the middle of the night with the lights off, because she wanted to have sex with the lights on, she'd had too much porn in her life. She'd watched too much porn. It was a visual thing for her. This is way too much for me to share publicly. Fuck it. The next night, in the middle of the night, she kind of creeps across the bed, and then we make love.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I've ever made love before. And I was like, wow.
Whoa.
And it wasn't, we were obviously physically having sex, but that was like 5% of the experience. The 95% of the experience was the closeness and the proximity.
Yeah.
And then I realized I had my own intimacy issues, because I was like, I've not done that before, and I don't actually really know how to.
Wow.
I only know how to go to a certain sort of a level. But the affection thing, that's missing a lot, right?
Yeah, it's definitely like, I mean, I always looked at, up until recently, I was always looking at sex as like, this is a work for me. I got to do this. I got to pleasure the girl.
Right.
I got to put on this show.
I don't think girls know that we think like this.
Yeah, I was like going into you, like strapping up your boots, tying your shoes. All right, I'm going to eat this pussy. Like, I'm going to get on there, 30 minutes here, foreplay, get in this, do-da-da-da-da. You know, my goal is like, I'm going to make it feel like this is the best. And it's like it was like competitive for me.
Yeah.
And
you want your Yelp review to be nice and high.
I wanted a good review.
Keep the Uber score at 5.
Literally, like my mindset is like, I want her to go to her friends the next day and be like, I got fucked really good last night. You know, like I came 5 times, and I'm like, that's a record. So just going in with this mindset is like, how can you enjoy it when you're going in with the mindset of like, it's a sport?
Yeah.
You know, how can you yourself enjoy it? Like then you start to realize like, oh, are you really having sex because you're enjoying it, or are you having it because you want to just satisfy the other person, which is part of it, but it shouldn't be the whole part of it. You should also just be want to like.
That's so true.
know?
And it got to the point, I realized it got to the point with me where I was like, I would do that. And I'd think, okay, the first 10 times, I'm going to be Rocco Siffredi, the porn star, so that on the 11th time, I can actually enjoy sex.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, look, I proved myself as an alpha male, okay?
Yo.
Can we just now just have normal people?
I still bring it up. I'm like, hey, I fucked you good like 2 months ago. All right, can you keep that fuck in your head?
Yeah,
the time you came like 15 times. Just remember that. Put that on a plaque. I'm like, can you write it down? Can you write down the good set? Because this week I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like,
Daddy's tired.
yeah.
Please.
No, I got no nuts in the reservoir, man. Yeah.
It feels that way. I really strongly believe that like most women don't think that men think this way. They don't think that we're under pressure. We just like show up.
Facts.
Because I've spoken to women in therapy for years. Like 90% of my clients are women, and they think that men are essentially like sex machines who just are like
Beep, boop, beep.
yeah, and they just go. Now, my client base, they're mainly with narcissists and psychopaths, who maybe they are. Like, those dudes, maybe they are. But the rest of us guys, like, it's not.
Yeah. I feel like, the psychopath friends I know, I feel like they got a lot of energy. Just like.
Well, when you don't care about anything else.
Like, get up.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, empathy and human emotion, it just exhausts so much of your natural energy
Yeah,
reservoir.
man.
If you don't give a shit, you
Yeah,
have
bro.
a lot more. But trying to sort of explain, like, actually, no, like, for the rest of us, we're just not built that way. We're just not, like, you can't, because it was awkward for me. So I'm doing this therapy work, which is separate to my personal life. And then I'm trying to, like, match it over because I'm sort of dating, but I'm a bit fragile and damaged myself. So I jump in and out of the pool. And then as I'm dating over the years, I'm like, I'm starting to feel like a tool here, like a tool of lust here. Like a girl would like get naked and then just look at me and be like, why aren't you hard?
Get it.
Yeah. And I'll be like, I would like to kiss a while. I want to be hugged.
Start up the engine, Richie.
Like, I don't function that way. I mean, this isn't a porn shoot.
What year is this car? This is a 1988 C-Class. Damn, they don't make them like they used to.
This is a classic. You gotta warm it up.
This needs diesel engine, diesel oil.
So I had this conversation a couple of times. I'm like, what do you? And the girl would be upset. She'd be like, why don't you just fuck me? And I'm like,
shit, damn.
we've not kissed yet. Am I like? Is there something wrong? We've not kissed.
You gotta marry him to kiss him now, man.
I'm like, wait. So when I was a younger man, it would be like first base, second base, third base. You would kiss, and then you'd kiss with tongues, and then you'd like rub over the jeans, and then the jeans. You'd like hump each other a bit, and then on the next date, and it would slowly escalate. Whoa. This now is like.
Damn. I mean, I guess it depends. But also, it's like if you're not a boyfriend or whatever in some long-term serious thing, sometimes they might have to see you like just a dick, like a dildo. So if they open that up to this intimacy, the feelings will get attached. But if they look at you as just like you're a dude with a cock, I like you, you're cool, cool enough that we can fuck. Yeah. I'm giving you permission, so let's do it. And they don't want to do like. That's 100% what's happening. You know, because once you get in the kissy and the cuddling and the staying over and then.
What's the risk?
Yeah, they start to, for both sides, you start to build those attachments and you just start to feel the NRE, the new relationship energy.
And why is that a problem?
I don't think it's a problem, but I think.
Why do you think they think it's a problem?
I think it's like if you've had enough guys or girls or whoever, you know, turn you down after a few hookups or whatever, or just like ghost you, then you build up these walls, and then you're like, okay, I still need sex. I'm human, but I need to like set it up in a way that I'm not gonna get my feelings involved.
Everything you just said is the script of about 90% of the girls I hooked up with since my last long-term girlfriend.
Yeah, they're working full time, you know, they got their career, and I get it, because I've done the same thing as a guy. I've done the same thing throughout my 20s till my, like up until recently, up until like 29.
Yeah.
And still would do it if I was single. I would probably be on the same shit because you're just like, yeah, I'm busy, but I need, you know, a little bit of loving, but I want to keep a little distance.
So it's like it's packaged. You want it delivered and then
Yeah. But
finish.
I'm the opposite. I'm acting like when I was single and in the whole hookup culture, I was like, I treat every person I was hooking up kind of like they were in a relationship when I'm with them physically, but I would let them know that like, hey, this is not serious, but I want to cook and, you know.
So you'd be nice to them?
Yeah, do nice things and just like.
How did that go?
It went well for a little bit until because. Yeah, man, people catch feelings, man. I caught feelings, they caught feelings.
Yeah.
If you can't, you know, meet some expectation of what someone has of love or relationship, then in the end you're gonna end up hurting each other, you know. It's
100%.
It's tough, man. Like 100%. It's tough.
This dating scene is a nightmare.
I think like that's why I see like, you know, a lot of wealthy people or musicians or actors or whatever, they get escorts or they get, you know, call girls because somebody might look at it as, oh, this is bad. These are prostitutes or whatever. But for them, it's like, hey, it's professional. There's no like intimacy in the form of long-term commitment. Yeah. And you get to have sex.
I always 100% jump in on that argument and just be like, okay, whoa. As opposed to doing what? Like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad.
Exactly.
But there's a huge chunk of the conversation we're missing here. And we're talking as though there's like a good boyfriend for every girl and a good girlfriend for every guy. But we're just out there going, oh no, I don't want the good girls. Fuck all that. I want my nonsense psychopath nightmare. There isn't a ton of good people qualified for a relationship. I don't know how to say it other than that, but like
I agree.
A lot
Especially
of us are not
now.
qualified.
Like, I mean, most of us aren't because, I mean, we're driven by our careers. We're driven by our, you know, things we want to achieve. We're not necessarily driven by, hey, I want to make a family or I want to have a strong, long-lasting relationship. And it has its pros and its cons. You know, some of the cons are you can be extremely lonely. You know, when you're single, you can feel this loneliness, and you don't have anyone who is like, I can call this person and they're gonna be available for sure. You know, because that girl you might have been hooking up with, she might be available on this day, but on that day she's not available. Or that week she got some other guy she's looking out with.
And that's your life. And you and this is I sound like a little bit schizophrenic about this. I should explain like the timeline for me as I jumped into dating, which is basically hookup culture. That's it. Hookup culture, unless you are very devoutly religious, you jump into hookup culture, you go, fucking hell, that's disgusting, Buddhist monk. Hookup culture, Buddhist monk, hookup culture. And it went on for years. and across the years, I've slowly pieced, because who can I talk to about this? I don't know who to talk to. Because the whole time I'm being a PTSD therapist, and I'm like, well, maybe it's me. I thought it was me. And then slowly over time, I pieced it together and I went, no, it's not actually you. Everybody's...
It's a culture. It's a culture, definitely.
And we're all struggling with
it. Especially in Western countries, or quote-unquote Western countries, or Western influenced countries. It's a culture now, and I don't think it matters about your gender or whatever. It's just like...
Your sexuality, your gender.
It really doesn't matter. I think it's across the board. I mean, you see it... I mean, the most extreme cases in the U.S., I can't remember what the percent is, but like, it was something like really high that like people feel lonely in the United States. Like grown people feel lonely. They don't have a consistent relationship. You could be hooking up with people and have Tinder and have this and that, but the loneliness is still there. But then the question is, do you want to give that up? Do you want to give up your drive, your career for a relationship? You don't always have to, but people view it as you might have to because they want to dedicate their life to what they want to achieve. And I don't know if it's good or bad. Like I feel like it is what it is. Like it's just something new, man.
It's something new.
Yeah,
like
something new.
Probably the kindest thing to say without condemning it is it's new and we're probably not handling it very well.
Yeah. I also look at it like it could be part of our not just evolution, but our evolution as a society. We're how many billion? 7 billion, 7.5 billion, 8 billion. We don't necessarily need to procreate anymore. So relationships were done in the past mostly for companionship, procreation, resources sharing. Okay. So we don't need that anymore. So most people don't need to share resources in the form of finances anymore. Most people can do those things on their own. Companionship, people can find different companions or friends or whatever, or roommates or whoever, flatmates. And so, and then the question is, okay, they can do, till what age can I live this lifestyle?
Right.
That's what I think is the question. It's like.
Yeah, it is a question, Miqi. It's a question for me. I'm asking, I'm fucking 46 on my next birthday, and I'm like, what is this? How long can I go on for like this? And really what? Because as you were talking there, like the loneliness thing, I was thinking, okay, so when I go Buddhist monk mode, I'm doing my meditation, I go to the gym, I do my work, and I read my books, I don't really feel lonely. When I'm hooking up, and there's like, it sounds terrible, and probably like, as a mental health advocate or whatever, I'll get absolutely killed for this, but if you want to be in this hookup culture, you can't see one person at a time. You'll get killed. You get killed if you do that. It's not that you have to have sex with multiple people, but you should at least be talking to multiple people.
Yeah, because once you put all your eggs in one basket,
you're the only one doing it.
Yeah, you're the only one. Yeah.
It's like the end of Reservoir Dogs, where they're all pointing the guns at each other, and you've got no guns. I'm like, okay, because I did that. So in the early part of the timeline, I was like Mr. Sincere. I'm ready for commitment and loyalty, and I just got the shit kicked out of me by girls who were like, dude, you're 5th on the list. You're 5th on the roster. They wouldn't say that, but I'm not stupid. I could feel it. I was like, oh shit,
bro. And I know girls, like, I got female friends who are like single, and they're super nice girls. They're like my friends, and they're super cool, like great people. But when I ask them how they're hooking up, I know I got a female friend who she's got like 5 to 7 guys, and she has like a schedule. And I was like, damn, that's what I used to do. And I was like, girls upgraded the game, bro. They got the game on lock, and girls are even more organized with that shit and communicate better. Like, she literally tells the guys, like, yo, I'm not gonna fall in love with you. I don't want a relationship with you. I got other guys that I fuck. Are you cool with that? And the guys are like, yeah, cool. And the guys start to catch feelings. And the guys thought they was the players, and then they getting played, and they're like, hey, what's up? And she was like, and she's like, yo, I just cut them off. Bye. Nope, I don't have time to deal with this shit. And I'm like, yo. And these were girls that like 2 or 3 years, 4 years ago had a like long-term relationship, but it went sour, went shit. They were just like, fuck this. I want to focus on my work, and I still love sex. And guys, trust me, girls like fucking more than we do, bro. Like, girls like sex way more. Like, I thought we like, yo, nah, man, girl, they like this shit way.
Listen, you can tell by the orgasm. Because when you listen to a girl have an orgasm, I'm like, what is that? And how long is this going on for?
Like,
and then she's going again. I'm like, when I come, I'm like, it's like maybe 10 seconds. She's like, was it good? I'm like, yep, that was great. It's as good as it gets.
Got it out. It went out. So.
When she's having some transcendental interdimensional experience, we're getting the evil out. So they like it more. There's more of a reward.
And they're cool. Like once they build this like mental system, it's like until they meet a guy who was just fucking amazing, they are directed. Like they already had enough dudes that they were shit and they fell for. So they already know what they want. So they look at you like a dildo, a dildo, a dildo, a dildo. Oh, this is a dildo who's a little cute. This is one who's got money. This is one who I fucking hate, but I think he can fuck good. You know? Like she literally told me, like, this guy, I fucking hate him, but I like the way he fucks.
The girl I'm saying right now, she's literally just said all of this to me last night. She was like, these are the guys, and this is where you... We have a good relationship. This is where you are.
Look at the wall of dicks.
And this is these are all the dicks. And I like this one because it's got a bend in it. And I like this one. And it is like that. She even said there's a guy who I think is a total dickhead, but he fucks good and I keep him and he thinks he's in charge of me, and it's an organized system. And I was like, I'm not here condemning it. I'm not like a right-wing Christian going, this is terrible. But there's gotta be there has to be consequences to this, like that, like societally, culturally, like there's got to be some end game.
I don't know what the consequences are. I feel like it's just like, yo, like, guys, I mean, girls can beat us at this game, bro. Like, they have.
Say it again for the people at the back.
Yo, like, they can beat us at this game, bro. They already figured out the game. They got this shit, like.
Well, we want it more than they do.
Okay, so conservatives will be like, well, the consequences, like, you know, you could get pregnant or your womb or. I'm like, yo, girls are taking birth control. They got morning after pill. They are, like, pretty on their shit. They're very organized. They're making money. They're doing this, doing that. So they just need, like, a release just like anyone else.
But the difference
between
guys and girls is guys will fuck inanimate objects.
Yeah.
They'll fuck dead bodies.
Yeah.
They'll fuck that. And I just think, like, all of us as adults just have to accept it. Like, women have an advantage.
And they know how to communicate. And they know how to communicate. And guys, we'll do stupid shit. Like, we'll be fucking with a girl and then get all close and then not tell her that we don't want nothing serious. And then the girl's like, and then you go and say something and the girl's like, I knew that. Like, and then you find out, I got like 3 other dudes, so what are you tripping about? And you're just like, oh, shit, okay.
Yep.
So I already know that. So if I was a single guy right now in this game, I'm like, communication is key.
Do you think they're more realistic than men are?
I think, like, once they get to the age of like 25, 26, they're like very, very realistic, especially when they know, because like, we're easily readable. Like, we got the same tricks up our sleeve.
Men?
Yeah, man. So we're easily readable.
If I was a gay man, like men are not a challenge. There's no.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no conquest in men.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
You know, my spouse Annie is pansexual, so Annie likes girls, guys, whoever Annie's attracted to, many different genders. So Annie's more attracted to girls because girls are more of a challenge for Annie. Like, Annie's always like, yo, guys are like so predictable. Like, so it's like so easy to like get them. You know, and girls are more like, you gotta like try and the mystery and everything.
You can develop a strategy for one girl and then it has to change the next day because she shows up as a different person.
Yeah,
you're like, shit. You gotta be on your Tai Chi flowing combat moments.
Yeah, like, guys, you could just like, it's easy to seduce me. You could just be like, titty. Oh shit. Okay. Hey, what's up? Like, there's a titty. I'm in.
Simple. We're simple beings.
Yeah.
The thing, coming back to what we said before, like when it comes to the role play stuff, has there been any points at which either you or Annie has said like, okay, not this? Or please,
Annie's been pretty.
I did come from that, but let's never do that.
No, Annie is like pretty vocal. Like, if Annie doesn't like something, or if I'm like, like, even the way I talk, like, it has to be like, use a certain tone of voice or subject matter, or whatever, like, so, and even sometimes we had to even like we had to plan it out like a few days before, like week before, and like think about like, this is like the script. Annie's really into acting and theater as well, so this probably also plays into it. So it was like, we had to come up with a script, even the outfit. So it was like, one was like a teacher thing, I had to put on my little tie and my shirt and little glasses, and then, like, so you kind of get into the role a bit, and it's fun, but it's not easy, man. It's challenging. Like, you gotta kind of like this dialogue. We talk a lot during sex, so that was like a new thing for me. Like, most girls I was with, like, the most you talk is like, not like coming up with some fucking Shakespearean poetry and shit.
No, that's me. I've been like that since I was 16.
There you go.
Young, super young.
Damn.
Yeah. Because and for no other reason other than sexual greed, like, I just found it was better.
Nice.
Like, if you can get inside of each other's heads a little bit and find those places and find that thing, that's your thing.
Head game.
All right, I gotcha. Gotcha. So there have been things where you've had to say, okay, like, not that, or not like that.
And sometimes it was like even a bit frustrating where I felt like, oh damn, I don't know what to do, or like, it's like doing a play, man. It's like being in a play. You fuck up your script, or you.
But when it's good, is this? I presume this is the best sex that you've.
Yeah,
that you've had.
it's fun even.
Yeah.
Like it's actually like fun and funny at the same time. Like
Right.
like some things are like funny. Like while I'm doing it, I'm like thinking in my head like I'm about to say some fucked up shit. You know, like I'm about to say this funny shit. Like you know, or you know, even sometimes I was like I don't know watching some like I don't know. I don't even know what you can. Like Eddie really
Careful,
likes. Eddie really likes what. Yeah, I gotta be. I don't know how much of this I should say. No, so Eddie. Okay, I can word it really well. Eddie really likes what I do, like a very like feminine, like masculine but feminine voice. So like a high pitched.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like 'cause Eddie likes Michael Jackson a lot. Eddie's just super turned on Michael Jackson. So if I put on like this high pitched, soft, feminine Michael Jackson voice, it's like orgasm.
Wow.
Like, not even like if I do it right, I don't even have to touch or penetrate or nothing.
Really?
Just like just
it does something.
If the mood is going well and just like
Yeah.
So it's like actually I'd say Annie is more. I mean Annie doesn't mind I talk about this. We're super open. I hope not, but but Annie is more like mental than physical sexually.
Okay.
So it's like it was really a challenge for me because most girls I had met were physical sexually, or at least I thought they were physical, and I just was naive little boy who just didn't know how.
This girl's physical, and after she's like, yeah, sure, I'm physical.
Yeah, sure, boy. But you know, like certain things. I mean, it's a mix of both, but like the mental is like another layer of it that like helps that you don't have to do so much physical work because you kind of create that story and the atmosphere.
Yeah. I'm 45. I do less because it's like a kettlebell workout. Otherwise, I'm like, let me do the mental stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, I just sit here, just
Got the voice for it. I understand the psychology.
You have to say the accent, man.
Let me just take it a little bit easy.
I know. So many friends that would love the accent, bro. They'd be like, "Oh, Richard."
Next time I come back to Prague, I'll get Annie in and I'll interview.
Nice. Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
Because Annie was like, "Am I not famous enough?" I was like, "I'm not famous enough." But
No, I'll interview.
Oh, you have to. Oh,
y'all. She's a strong opinion.
It will be like viral with Eddie. It will be like 1 million views.
We'll get Annie in to cover this stuff.
Okay, that'll be dope.
So on that video, I played the devil, and there are some consequences that go on. There, like.
Yeah, and so in the music video, I play the many reincarnations of a male gigolo, and in each, there's like 3 different lifetimes that we show in the video. We show like this prehistoric period, we show a Baroque period, and then we show this post-apocalyptic period. And in the beginning, it's like, starts as a documentary.
Yep.
You're talking about the history of prostitution, and we go into the history.
Yes.
And so in each time period, my character plays the gigolo, and I also play the character of the husband who catches the gigolo with his wife or with his partner or whatever. And I try to touch into these consequences because I've had consequences related to infidelity in the past, and also from both ways, like being the person who has a partner who's not doing who I've been the person who's been cheated on, and I've been the cheater as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So I wanted to express that in the video, and the consequences are like this kind of like karmic consequences of, you know, relating to people in a bad way, or being the person who is, you know, cheating, or being the person who is the person who is the catalyst for the cheating.
Yes.
So, and I'm not necessarily I don't necessarily think of it in a religious way, but just like, what are those, you know, what are those consequences in the way that you feel guilt, you know?
It's religious in the spiritual, philosophical sense.
That's what I mean. Exactly. Yeah. So like, I wanted to show like these characters feel some, like, not guilt, but that there is something that happens after they do that action.
Yeah.
And they have to like pay for it somehow. So, because I feel like, in my case, there were so many times where I was trying to find some way to explain some behavior of mine, or to justify it, or to be like, hey, I'm this, or I'm this, so I can do this, or whatever. And I could never get away with it. Like,
what story were you telling yourself to justify it?
Well, many things. Like, I mean, in this like modern society, we have so many different like forms of sexuality. As far as like I had an open relationship before. with Annie. We were in an open marriage, and we were able to, have other sexual partners. So, and we both wanted that, and we found that it didn't work, and like it was something where we were, we thought that because we wanna have different sexual partners, it's okay in our relationship, and it's a way to function, and it can be for some people. But then we found a lot of things that fuck things up between us because we had the open relationship.
Yeah, it sounds like a nightmare. Yeah. Do you think it works for some people?
I hope, part of me wish it would work, because I still feel like, fuck, I miss like those times where we just did crazy shit, and just had this feeling of freedom. But at the same time, I don't know if it's like right or wrong, but I just know people got feelings, and it don't matter how non-jealous you think you are, both of us were jealous in different ways.
Okay, what was the different ways in which there was jealousy?
Like, I think, that's a good question. So in my way, it was like Annie wanted to know everything, like wanted me to communicate everything, and I was like, hey, I don't want to necessarily know who you sleep with. I'm cool if you do it, but you don't have to communicate it to me.
Okay.
And, you can read all these different books about open sexuality and all these articles about this, and that, and they say like, oh, it's up to you, the rules, and da-da-da-da, and they make it sound so pretty and awesome. But when you really practice it, it's fucking hard, and it was hard emotionally on both of us. Like,
I would think it was just a nightmare.
It was difficult, and we wanted, like, we want to try it in the future, but the way it was recommended to us is we both would have to have, we would have to have a relationship therapy with 2 therapists throughout an open relationship to actually make that function, because it would really have to be like.
Were you on the same date nights at the same time?
That's the other thing, yes.
Did one of you sit at home just tapping their feet waiting for
That was the thing too, so it went both ways, like, where if
I'd rather be shot dead.
If I had someone that night and Annie didn't, or if Annie had someone and I did it was like, yeah, man, it was like, yeah, you hear about it and you think, oh yeah, we can try that, and I'm happy we tried it. I don't regret it. It was great, But and then also becomes the people that you have relations with. Some of them are cool with it, but a lot of people look at you in a strange way, or they don't, or you get emotional attachments to them. And I'm one of the type of person, I get emotionally attached to people. Yeah. Sexually or non-sexually, I get attached to the people emotionally. Yeah. So that happened, and and I made a mistake that I got like emotionally attached, and it definitely made our relationship really rocky. And amongst other things that were going on in our relationship, it was bad. And it took us like almost 2 years, a year and a half to like
restabilize.
To fully like heal from that, where it was like, I mean, I think Annie's still like upset at it, but where it was like, I don't get in trouble just when it comes up, where it's like,
it's not an argument.
Angry. Yeah.
It's a fucking day-long argument.
Yeah. And then, so just these things. And then also with guys, when Annie would try to meet a guy or something, like the guys, they see it as something like weird, like they see it as like, oh yeah, your guy isn't like satisfying you enough or something like that.
The ego comes in straight away.
The ego comes in with the guy. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to like communicate about guys, like specifically, because I know how guys are. And
because you're a guy, you know how you would be about it.
And I would be more comfortable with Annie being with like bi guys or queer guys, because they are a bit more open about it, and the queer guys that I've met are not in this ego way of like,
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
So these guys I wouldn't mind communicating with Annie about, but when it came to like so Annie really wanted to communicate, so I tried that, and I just like reacted like really bad at first to it, and I was just like,
because she was telling you what had happened.
Not like all the sexual specific things, but just I wanted to like, okay, no, for safety purposes, I wanted to know where she was going, like this stuff. This was already like challenging for me, and I got over it, but I think in the moment I was upset about it, and it was definitely like something that pushed my security levels to like, it like tested my insecurity a lot.
This is the kind of thing that can induce borderline personality disorder. It's really dangerous.
It's definitely. I wouldn't recommend it. But I mean, I always like, I'm the type of person like I'm always down to try something and see if it's okay.
Right.
So, and then if I see if it's not okay, then I want to figure out how to adjust and move forward.
To make it work.
Yeah,
find
to
a
make it
solution.
work or find a solution. So we found the solution, which is like, yeah, we still can have like threesomes or some stuff
So
like
you're in
this
the room,
together.
you're still there. You still see them.
No. Like, no. It would be like should go on a date or somewhere else. Like not, not in my, not in our flat. No, not in our flat.
Okay.
No, it would be like, no, I'm not into like some kind of like cuckolding or stuff like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and
So you do still sometimes see other people?
No.
Okay.
We could have threesomes or something like this.
Yep.
Or but we haven't had it in a long time.
Yeah.
I think just because we've just been really busy, and also like those can be complicated as well. Threesomes can also be complicated.
Fucking nightmare. I think
They're
if you
fun as hell, but like you have to be with the right people because.
I like the idea, but then I'm like, so many things are a good idea when you're high on lust, and then the minute you come, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a dude in my house.
No, we don't.
I need him to go.
Unfortunately for Annie, because I'm not into guys, so Annie would love to have like a threesome with two guys.
Yeah.
But we've only had threesomes with other girls or other,
Is that? Do you think that's easier? Maybe that's.
I
easier.
think like for me, it's definitely I wouldn't be ever comfortable having a threesome with two dudes. I mean, when I was younger, like we like me and my homie, we like double teamed the chick one time, and it was fucking horrible actually. Like, but it was like one of those things. We were like, yeah, we were 19. We were just like, yo, we were always like joking, like, yeah, let's double team a chick one time, and then we tried it. We're like, yeah, this is kind of let's not do that again.
Okay.
But it was like I know the guy, and that's my homie.
Yeah.
We're not attracted to each other. We're both straight males, but
That's interesting. So are you saying that okay. So when you were having sex with a girl and there was another guy there, did you feel that there was like a gay element hanging over it that you weren't comfortable with?
Nah, it wasn't a gay element. It was just like we had like a thing like, hey, no eye contact. You take the mouth, I take this. It was like
I can feel myself going back to Buddhist monk road.
yeah, you want to go back to a bug. No, people were like, Miqi,
stay at my house
hey,
for a
I've been
while.
there, done that. I've been around, guys. I mean, I tried a lot of things in my life, but
The most common thing for me has been where it's a couple asks me to join in with them.
yeah.
And when I was younger and doing a lot of coke, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. But again, there's the idea of it, and then there's doing it.
Nah.
And it'll cause problems.
I would
always cause
totally
problems.
like if there was like a cuckold couple and like the dude was like just wanted to watch and wanted me to bang his wife, I would totally do it. Like it'd be my
you
pleasure.
would do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been one of my like biggest
Do you want to
fantasies.
put your email? Just
Hey, anybody? And I would take money for it. Like I'd get paid to do it. Like
you can find Miqi on Instagram.
I think that's so cool, and especially if the person like derives some type of pleasure from it.
Well, I know couples in Liverpool. I know about 5 couples in Liverpool who would be up for it. So.
And I'm reading about it, and people think they think like, oh yeah, the guy is like weird or that, but this is like for the couple, it's the ultimate level of control. Actually, they're the ones in control. You are like you are the toy in that sense.
100%.
And I'm not talking
100%.
about like I don't want to have anything sexual with the guy, but it's like the guy is there. These are usually pretty dominant men outside.
Yeah.
So here it's like, I want to watch my.
These were like gang.
Yeah.
Almost like gang boss type
like
guys.
they-
Cool guys, super nice guys, but really like they ran gangs. Like, and they're really into this. And now that we talk about it, I think they were using me because I wasn't. They knew I wouldn't be like just be a dick about it.
Yeah.
It's like psychologically aware, emotionally literate. Oh, this is what you're into because blah blah blah. Fine.
Yeah.
And then it was just in a box. It's for the night. Get out, and that's it. Back to normal. Can we be normal again afterwards? Yeah, we can be normal.
And the other thing is like, in these situations, communication and respect is like, probably outside of the actual fucking part that you would see in like a porn. 'Cause people just usually see it in a porn or some shit.
Yes.
But the whole communication thing is like really important. Like if you were like weird or a dick or some, like they wouldn't feel comfortable allowing you into this situation.
Yes.
So I think it's like, I think it's cool, man. If that's what people are into, I can respect that people are comfortable with it. Because some people, they hide everything. You know, they got these things they want to do, and they like just keep it and they hide it, and then that leads to what's the word for it? You know, repression, and so I'm like, hey, if you got it, like get it out of you. Probably dealing with it deals with the whatever repressed things you have, and probably won't even do it so often. You know, but yeah, man, I tried so many different things, man. Like, yeah, but I wouldn't recommend open relationships for the faint-hearted.
I just think,
Yeah.
I just think that sounds like a recipe for an argument that's going to last about 10 years.
Facts.
And may never be resolved. The classic thing that, and I think it's true, the evolutionary psychologists say is for men, the horror is that your goal is sexually available to another man. And for the woman, the horror is that her man is emotionally available to another woman. So the fact that you've kind of developed feelings would have been a fucking nightmare for her. And if she really enjoyed sex with somebody else, that's going to be a fucking night. As a man, as a woman, like in your DNA and in the biology, you're just like, this is horrifying.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we like, you know, proved to ourselves, and found out through that experience. So it was just like, but the other thing about it is it made us both like, especially I don't know, I can't speak for Annie, I speak for myself. Like it made me very comfortable and confident with myself, cause like even though we're not open anymore, like I don't have jealous feelings. So if Annie's making friends with a guy or talking to someone, I don't look at it like, oh, cause I trust Annie. You know, I trust Annie. Annie trusts me. So I don't ever feel like Annie is going to do something or vice versa, you know, and I'm happy for Annie to have a social life. We're not like these couples where, oh, you can't talk or you can't do this or you can't have friends or you can't do this. Like we're like super like, hey, you person you know, I know. I met this girl, I wanted to introduce you to her, she's really cool. It could be a fucking fine ass girl. Annie could see a guy and be like, wow, that guy's super hot, look, he's amazing. I don't feel like jealous about it.
Because you already went through this
but I understand
trial by fire.
But I also understand, we're still human. We're still going to be attracted to people. It doesn't mean we have to act on it, our sexual desires, you know. And we can still be friends with people that are attractive. We can be attracted to people that are friends, like and find them visually attractive, but still have like a platonic friendship with somebody and not feel the need to be like sexual. So these things are cool and.
This is black belt level stuff, though.
Yeah, man. This is like
they're not going to do it.
Yeah, not a lot of people are like I meet so many people and they're like, oh, my boyfriend, da da da, and I'm like, we're both artists, and I'm like, a lot of things we do have to be like, I have to have like fans and stuff, and I can't like not be have fans that are girls, or I can't not talk to girls. Like Annie knows that I love being around women. Like I love women. Not just in the sexual way, I just like being around women. I get along more with women, and the guys that I get along with are super like solid and balanced guys. Like you're like solid and balanced, and you're like open, and you know I don't really get along with the guy who was super fucking like jealous of his girl looking at somebody or this type of shit, or who was like, hey man, you let your girl walk around wearing that? Like I would never be cool. Like Annie can wear whatever the fuck they want. Like can be like literally. Be in the park with the titties out and shit. I'm not gonna give a fuck. If somebody does something wrong, they shouldn't be acting that way.
That's a different thing. Yeah,
we're gonna correct that. You know, But I'm not like oh, you shouldn't wear that. Nah. And I'm not saying that everybody has to be like that, but the type of people we are, man, we're creatives, we're artists. We got to be able to feel free. You know. If
before we were saying like, is it good? Is it bad? It is what it is. If you hopefully you'll have kids one day, would you be worried about them in this type of hookup culture that we've gone through? Would you be happy with that?
I'd have to say like, I think it doesn't matter if I'm worried or not, it's how I act on the worries.
Okay.
So if I have the worries, I have to say like, okay, why am I worried? Okay, I'm worried because this might happen. Okay, so let me prepare my child for these scenarios and say, hey, if you want to do this, these are some of the consequences. If this happens to you, you can talk to me about it. If you feel like this way, you can also talk to me about it. I may not feel comfortable with this, but ultimately you're going to have to make that decision for yourself.
Right.
You know, and if that's on like a later stage of after puberty and stuff like this. But I feel like, my parents were really conservative, and I wasn't allowed to have like to date until I was 17. And I think they raised me in great ways, in many ways, but that also like made me want to be like super fucking like sexual.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, bro, I can't like date anyone, so I had to sneak.
Yeah.
So I got good at being sneaky.
Yes.
So I got good at hiding shit from my parents. So
Yeah.
my parents didn't know that I was the most flirty guy in the class,
So that
even though I had the grades.
That repression created an expression
Yeah.
elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, and then once I was 17 and this, I was like, okay, now I can not have to hide this, but I still knew how to hide. I still was an expert at hiding shit because I was ashamed and then didn't want to get in trouble for doing something. Then that became in my relationships that I would hide shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I feel like it's really important to be able to be realistic with your children, man. Like,
would you say you're the weirdest Trump supporting conservative on the face
man,
of the planet?
yo, yeah, man, like.
See, we got a car in, and you don't even know he's a Trump supporting conservative.
I'd say I was a Trump supporter back in the past election.
Yeah.
Now I would say I became like apolitical, man. Like I'm so apolitical because even Trump.
I think we felt the beginning of that in the last interview.
Yeah,
like the way we were both talking, because we both ended up the same way, which was we kind of still had a shred of hope for politics, and then I think it just burnt out for both of us at the same time.
Yeah, man, because
like,
I got caught up in the mix as well, man. At the end of the day, man, it's neoliberalism, man. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican.
Yeah.
They all have the same agenda, and it's divide and conquer.
Yeah.
They'll feed whatever is gonna like feed their voters.
Yeah.
And I saw that with Trump. And then at the same time, Trump was like pro-vaccine because he did warp speed and everything. And I'm totally against vaccine. So I'm standing on my own principle. I'm like, I'm not for this, pushing this vaccine. Trump is like proud of it.
Not having it.
Not having it. Like, I'm not cool with that. So, and then when I saw that, I was like, actually, you know, he is very ego-driven. So even he knows that his voters are not for this vaccine. He doesn't give a fuck because he's the one who did warp speed, so he wants to be proud that I pushed this.
Yep.
I got this out.
And it's money. It's corporatism.
Yeah, so
which he stands for. He stands for money. He stands for corporatism.
Exactly. So I'm like, yo, it's the same thing, man. So I don't want to be duped and played into this political shit. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, man, I'm apolitical. I'm both. And also I found out I'm ENTP or ENTJ or what's that? I'm a debater.
Okay.
So I'll fucking debate my own self. I can change my viewpoint in like a minute.
That's good philosophy. That's the Socratic method. If you're against the death penalty, we force you to debate for the death penalty.
Yeah.
And if you're good, you can come up with a better argument for the thing you hate than the person who loves the thing because you're a good debater.
Man.
You're good at this.
Like, if I wasn't into music, I would be a lawyer. And I wanted to be a lawyer when I was like 10 or 11 because we had this like micro society program in my school. If I wasn't into music, I would totally do it because I could literally argue for the fucking worst demon in the world. I could find a way why they're a good person.
Right.
You know, and that can be dangerous for what I'm into because...
You've seen The Devil's Advocate, right?
Yeah, of course. No, but I had to be careful, man, because I realized, like, because of the way the world is right now, I really got to be careful not to play into the divide and conquer game because it just, like, pushes people away and you can hurt people from expressing how you feel about something, and the things are changing, man. The game is changing. Like, man, after COVID, it's like, now conservatives are back in their lane. I'm back in my lane. Like, we were cool when we didn't want all the rules and the vaccines and this shit. Now we're back at each other again.
Yeah. So in a certain sense, the world returns back to order, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because I feel. And I did say this, like I was honest about this, when the pandemic was on, I was like, the side of the boat is tipped too far left. So I'm going to go right. But when things redress themselves, I'm going to sit where I belong, which is just left of center. And I'm not apologizing anymore. I'm not apologizing to radical leftists. I'm not apologizing to conservatives. Also, fuck, that's what I believe and fuck you. And I think what we're encouraged to do is try to join a tribe. Try to join a side and then bang that drum and
exactly, and then bang it. And I see this now, and I'm just like, yo, like fuck it, like I'm just like, yo, I'll let people. Now I see. I don't agree with a lot of conservatives when it comes to how they view the queer community and stuff like this, and that they just won't let their fucking foot off of them.
Right.
Like I'm just like, yo, just let it die. Like, just get their foot off, bro. Like nobody's. I mean, like when it comes to the groomer thing became a point where now it's like you can just say something and they go groomer. So now it's just like, okay, you're being disrespectful. You're calling people who aren't groomers. So like this is bad because then you got someone who has good intentions and now you're accusing them of being a child groomer.
A pedophile, essentially.
So that term actually went to the wrong end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Where there might have been some instances that were specific and nuanced where there was some form of grooming.
Well, we discussed one, didn't we? Like on Tentacle Quest one, we covered cuties and how like that was a weird effort to sort of stretch what was acceptable into essentially pedophilia, to like normalize pedophilia. So you acknowledge it can happen.
Of course.
We both acknowledge it can happen, but it doesn't mean every time somebody disagrees with you, you can just go groomer.
Yeah, and that's when it's like, hey, man, we lose our like humanity and we're just like disrespecting random people, and I don't want to go down that path. And it's easy to go down because with the algorithm right now, that's the other thing. I for a certain amount of months I just stopped watching the news, stopped following the war, stopped following everything. And once the algorithm stops showing me everything that I agree with, then I can start to like shape my own opinion again.
Why did you stop?
Because I was just like, yo, I saw a lot of people that were friends of mine that just stopped being friends with me. And I'm upset at them for not like just talking to me or whatever, but you know, it would be like something that I said or whatever. But then I also take responsibility and know like, hey, my words have power to some people.
Yeah.
They're gonna be offended by it.
Yeah.
So I can keep that shit private, you know, have conversations one-on-one with people and don't necessarily have to like go on social media and do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was just like, hey, refocus. COVID's over. I also think during COVID and during that time, everyone was in this fucked up mental space where we were like less social, less around people, and our only form of fucking communication and conversation is the internet. And then they're bombarding us with these different like political scandals and civil scandals and everything, and we're all talking about it and we're all magnifying it, and that became our topics of conversation for day-to-day activities.
I got sucked into stuff. It was like I met Africa Brooke recently, and she was talking about echo chambers, and she was like, "What echo chambers have you been in?" To me, and I was like, "Fuck, what ones haven't I been in?" I mean, like, at some point at 3 o'clock in the morning, I have issues with insomnia. I've entered an echo chamber and lived there, and had the thoughts of the people who are in that space. And it always, for me, it feels like I used to take acid, psychedelic. I'm now thinking somebody else's thoughts.
Yeah.
And their thoughts, it is literally echoing, and I'm echoing and vibrating and resonating in that space. Now I'm a radical leftist. Now I'm a hardcore religious Christian. And I can do both. I can do it in one night of insomnia. Because I can see the advantages to both. And then it was like coming off it, I consciously chose to switch off the news, and unconsciously I stopped listening to podcasts. You won't catch me listening to a fucking podcast. I used to live on podcasts. I don't want to hear anybody else's fucking opinion about anything ever again, so long as I fucking I don't want to hear it. I want space.
I
need space in between my fucking ears.
Bro, that's crazy, man. Like, but you know, I look at it beautifully as well because it was such a good scheme. Like whoever. I'm a, you know me, I'm a fucking conspiracy theorist, whatever you want to call me. And I really look at this as like, yo, this was like a really amazing time that some group of people, whoever it is, was able to flesh out this big theater and get us all involved in it, where it became like our day-to-day activity. And some people are still arguing over some things that don't affect them on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
All around the world.
Yeah.
And we're tied up in it, and you get up and you're angry about it, and it fucks up your relationships with your family and your friends, and I've seen my generation, your generation, even my grandparents' generation, we all got involved into these little things, and I really feel like it's like what Christians call the devil, what Muslims call shaitan, whatever this evil is, this divide and conquer player. This is one of the schemes, you know, to get us arguing and feeling like we're all right. Because until one of us says, yo, I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I see your side of the story. How the fuck we ever gonna get along?
No.
Like, yo,
No.
how the fuck we ever gonna get along?
It's discord for its own sake.
Yeah.
It's like purposeless discord and a lack of unity for its own sake. And this is where, that was the other perspective I got to, is that like, I started going, it was like quantum physics. It was like waves, particles, waves, particles, waves, particles, and eventually my brain just broke and it just went, everything is everything. It's all nothing.
Yeah.
Like, transcend. Find a way, fucking transcend this, because it's moving in a direction. And I think that now, there's an inevitability to the direction it's moving in. Some of it sucks and some of it hurts, but it's always sucked and hurt. Like, all of human life has been full of difficulty and full of suffering. So like, the hookup culture right now, it's nasty, it's alienating. Okay, what's the effect of it being nasty and alienating? Well, it means that I sit here and have a conversation with you and we go, why the fuck is it nasty and alienating? And then we have to think more.
Yeah.
Like, if we're inside of a simulation and the simulation has a purpose, it seems to be trying to get us to think more clearly.
Yeah.
So is it important that we hug?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's how I know another human being is there. And you sometimes, as a man, you don't want to be the one doing the hugging all the time. Sometimes you want to be held because you're also a child, you're also vulnerable, you're also like, and we're all one. We're children, we're adults, we're men, we're women, we're all like one thing.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, so with the turmoil and the pain on the other side of that, it tends to move in this direction of like unity, generally speaking.
Yeah, no, definitely. The unity is, I feel like that's ultimately the only path that we can go to if we want some type of peace. You know, and I always look at it like, now I look at it like, no matter what you believe, you can't control what your kids are gonna believe.
Right.
Like, so, you know, I was in Berlin the other day, and
Place of terrible sin. Sinfulness.
No, but I was asking my friend, I was like, man, it's amazing. I was like, right now, imagine walking down the street, there's a woman fully dressed burqa, walking like 2 meters behind her husband. And then there's a queer kid, half naked, tan, tattoos,
covered in dildos,
walking down the same, covered in fucking dildos. And then there's a black person, Arab, Turkish, this, and we're all just walking down the same street. Nobody batting an eye at nobody saying anything. And I was like, yo, imagine like how it's like here's just a clash of all these cultures and they're just existing next to each other in the same neighborhoods. And he looked at me, he said, yeah, it's the treaties.
Right.
And I just like these unwritten treaties of like, hey, you live your life, I live mine. And then I thought about this, like, yeah, there's a treaty, but it don't matter if this person has a kid, whether they're queer, LGBTQ, whether they're Muslim, whether they're Christian, you can't control what your kid, no matter what you instill in them, your kids are ultimately gonna make the decisions for themselves.
Yes.
You could be queer and have a kid who wants to be a Muslim.
Yeah.
Or you could be Muslim and have a kid who's queer, or who, you know, Christian and have a kid who wants to be Muslim. So the most important is the love. Like, are you gonna love despite your differences in what you believe?
Yeah.
And that's when it really comes into play. And I think that's the test. Like, and the forces that, you know, keep us fighting each other, we're failing the test when we're like fighting each other. You know, the goal is to be able to love. No matter what, as long as what the person doing is not depriving me of my safety, my freedom, whatever. So
if it's a test, the only failure of the test is when we fight people when we don't need to.
Yeah, and I failed at it, man. I got caught up in that shit because I feel like, yo, what's the point of arguing and bickering? You're just playing into the hand, man. Like, you know, when you look at the states right now, and you look at, I mean, look, we got Joe Biden in office, and he's supposed to be the most liberal guy, and now look at all these rights getting taken away. You know, like look at, you know, what's happening with abortion and what's happening with this Supreme Court case. So it's like, yo, even though Trump's not in office, shit is still getting fucked up for people, you know? So then the question for those people who are really, you know, left is like, hey, was it worth it? Did we get what we want? And then what's going to happen on the other side? Then the next 4 years, they're going to do something that the conservatives are going to be like, they got that. Like, it's like every 4 years, like, they just...
People get their hearts broken.
Yeah, they just keep just... So I'm sure, like, the liberals are losing this time.
Yeah.
Okay, now I bet if Trump gets in office next 4 years, there's gonna be some super liberal stuff going on, and the conservatives are gonna be like, "How could this happen? We got Trump here."
Yeah, super
And we're just gonna keep
That's the pendulum swings, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
every action has its equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, man. So I'm just like, I'm so tired of being caught up in that. I'm just like, yo, I just want to make art and have a good life and have friends and fuck this other shit, man.
Well, that's thinking locally, isn't it? Like that's actually stuff you can control. It's inside of your own life. That makes sense. So you've got the new single is out. Where can people get a hold of it if they want to?
Yeah, man. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's on all major streaming platforms.
When's the video coming out?
The video right now, it's done. We spent the whole year working on this video, man. We ran out of money at some point. We couldn't find a location. We were trying to get the Baroque costumes done. We finally finished filming everything. Right now I'm color grading the video.
Nice.
So it's gonna be done in the next 2 weeks.
You've got to see it. It's got an incredibly handsome devil character in it.
Man, you're a good actor. Like Richard
Thank you.
is a natural. Like I showed it to my friend Jay, and she was like, "Who is this guy? He's scary as fuck." Like you played the devil character so well.
Yeah, it's well within my range, I think, to play the devil.
Yo, Annie was impressed by you. Like Annie was so impressed by you. I think like you left a lasting impression, Annie, because Annie had no clue that you could act like that. You just hit it spot on. You nailed it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully people enjoy it when they see it as
Yo.
well. Miqi, thanks so much for coming in, mate.
Oh, thank you too, brother.
Cheers, mate. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for your time and for your attention. And we look forward to speaking to you again soon. Cheers.